Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 120 of Build Your Stash and Craft. This week we are going to make our own stamps to make our own wonky houses. And so these are some that I just did as some samples, and this is what I have for my samples so far. We're going to make this out of our fun foam. So what we are going to do is set these aside. I'm going to show you how I started and tell you which way I think is the best way. So first off, I did some on the foam core board. This was scraps that we've had left over from other projects. And then I also did some just on a piece of chipboard. Now this is a pretty heavy piece of chipboard. This came from behind. I got a pack of 12 by 12 paper, and this was in the back of it to keep it straight. So it's really quite heavy. If you don't have one that's heavy, you can just do it on a cereal box or any type of a chipboard that you have. And if you think it's a little too thin, just take 2 layers of it, glue it together, and then you can glue your fun foam on it and let it dry. When I made my first ones, I made them, and what I did was I just took my fun foam and I cut all of my shapes. Then I glued each individual shape to a piece of corrugated cardboard, and then I cut them out. It took a long time to get the glue, especially with all of the teeny tiny pieces that we're going to make. It took a while to glue each little piece down. So then I thought, why not glue the fun foam right to my project, or right to my backing, before I cut it out. And so I did that, and I did it 2 ways. I glued a whole sheet to see how it works, just cutting them out once they're glued on. I did some that I already cut them out, and then I glued those on. And then I did it on both types of the fun foam and the cardboard. Now I'm going to tell you, the fun foam, you have to cut it with a razor knife. And it is really quite hard to do all of the little tiny curves on the fun foam, because it's so thick. Even if you have a nice short sharp blade, it works, but it is kind of hard. So I thought the benefit would be that we would have the thickness behind it, but I don't really find that to be, it's not worth the time that it takes to cut it. Even with the full sheet, you have to cut the whole thing with a razor knife. You can't use your scissors. It just crushes the edges, so then your edges won't touch your paper. So I would say fun foam, don't bother with it. If you want to, once you do your chipboard, because that's what I'm going to recommend, is using chipboard. Once you put them on the chipboard, and well, I was going to say, once you do that and then you cut them out, you could put them on the fun foam. Problem is, then you still got to cut out the fun foam. So I'm going to say fun foam, don't bother unless it's something you really want to do. Now I did do mine, and and I cut them out. Now the light pink ones, the light pink ones were a full sheet, and then I just cut out shapes. So I do have the fun foam shapes on the fun foam, and and they're okay. They were just really difficult to do. And then I have also the fun foam on ones that I had cut out before and then glued them down and then cut them out from the fun foam afterwards. So I will be right back. Sorry about that. So so these are the ones that I did, and it was just so much easier to cut them out, whether it was cutting them out of the full sheet or cutting shapes that had already been cut and then glued onto the chipboard. The chipboard was just so much easier. So that's what I'm going to suggest to use. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what you're going to want to do. If you want to cut your shapes out first, cut them out, glue them on your chipboard, stick them under a heavy book, and let them sit for quite a while. Especially since you're going to be cutting around them, you don't want them to slip and move, and you want them to be really adhered to the fun foam. Oh, the one thing I was going to say about these ones, it was a pain kind of gluing individual pieces. Also, on the very small pieces, you've got the corrugated cardboard where here the corrugation comes up, here it goes down. You don't get, on corrugated cardboard, you don't get a good impression, or it's harder to do because that corrugated cardboard just doesn't, it's not solid. It's very, it likes to let loose. And I even had some of them where when I was pushing, well, this is one of them, when I was pushing it down, the top piece of the corrugated cardboard came off. So then I had to put my handle back on the next layer. So I would say corrugated cardboard is also not necessarily the best idea. So chipboard's going to be your best idea, and actually I like the full sheet the best. It works really well, and it's the easiest to cut out because you don't have to follow any certain line. You know, you're just going to cut it as you wish while you're cutting, instead of trying to, in this case, like let's cut out this little one. But it cuts out okay, but you just have to make sure. You know, I mean, you have to follow those lines. And the reason that I don't like just cut squares, just cut a square like this and put our masking tape on the back and use it like that, is because you don't know exactly where this is. And so if you cut them out so that they are the correct shape, they're going to be easier to use, because we're going to be able to use these, you know, and it doesn't have to be perfectly next to it, but you want to be as close as you can get, so that you know where your actual stamp is. If you leave it as a big square, you don't know where the stamp is. You just know it's under there somewhere. So this way, but see, this is kind of just a little bit harder to do because I'm trying to do this and stay next to what's already there, but it still works. And so, but the way that I'm going to say to do it is just use a full piece. Now, when I did my first set, this is my first set, and I made all my houses very tall and very skinny. I thought, you know, I think I would really like them short and fat better. So then I made my second set, and with my second set, I made them short and fat. Now, the thing is, these can all be mix and matched. So I can use a tall house with a fat roof. You know, so you can mix and match them any way that you want to. So it's fun to have lots of different shapes. And the reason that you want to know exactly where your bit is underneath, instead of making a square like on top of this, instead of just cutting this like this and then saying, okay, there's my door. Okay, the problem with that is when you go to put your door on your house, where is that door? Do you want it in the middle? And if you want it in the middle, where is it on here? And do you want to line the bottom of the door up with the bottom of your house? Well, then that's where is the bottom of that door. And so that's why you want to cut around your shapes and have them the actual shape. So when you go to put them down, then they are right there and you know exactly where you're placing them. So with the full sheet, so you can decide, like, okay, I'm going to make some kind of short houses. So this is going to be the height of my house. And I'm just going to cut a length all the way across this at that height. Now, if I wanted it to be taller, then I would just, you know, maybe if I wanted to be this tall, then I would cut my houses out of this piece. And if you do maybe 2 or 3 pieces, but you can get a lot, even just out of one piece. So if I say, okay, to start with, I just want one that's kind of rectangle shaped. There we go. Now I have a rectangle shaped house. It's all done. I do not put anything on my houses. I do make patterns on my roofs and on my like windows and that type of thing, but I leave my houses plain so that when I put windows or flower pots or something like that on them, it shows up better than having the busy background. So now the next one, let's say I want to make one that's kind of swirly. So I'm going to do like this. And then do I want it to be fat? Yeah, let's make this one kind of fat at the bottom. And if you want these to be exactly the same on both sides, because they're wonky houses, I don't mind. But if you want it to be the same on both sides, cut a piece of paper that's the size of what you want to cut out, fold it in half, and then you can go like this, put it on here, and draw around it. You know, but then you've got the fact of you have to kind of try and follow those lines. But I like mine to be wonky, so I'm not going to worry about that. So now let's say I want to make one that's where both sides are doing the same thing. So this one goes out and in. So I want this one to go out. Oops, I did that wrong. I was going to try and follow the same shape, but I didn't. There we go. But now there's another house. It's okay. So let's see if we can make this one go the same way. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go like this, and then come back in, and then go like this. And this is very thick cardboard, so it's a little bit difficult to cut, but really not too bad. And so there we go. And now we have this piece left. So that's really, to me, don't necessarily know that I want to build a house out of it. So let's make it smaller. Like that. And I'm going to cut it off right here. And right here I got a bunch of really bad dents when I was trying to cut it, so I'm going to just trim that off because that will show up in your stamp if you dent your... And now this is going to be a dog house. Okay, so now I have this piece right here, and what are we going to do with that? Well, let's cut it like this. Maybe I should have done it this way first. I'm going to cut it up and kind of over, make it a little bit shorter. And now there is a planter pot. And we've got this piece. I like the shape of that. I like how this is straight and this goes over here. So there's a door. And so you're just going to go through and see, now we have these houses. We have a door, we have a flower pot, we have a dog house, and we're going to want to do our roofs next. Now the thing with the roofs that you need to remember is, I'm going to make my roofs about this tall to a certain extent. I want one really tall roof, so what I'm going to do, and I want to make sure that your roof, that's what I was saying, the roofs, you want your roofs to be a little wider than your houses. So let's say this one right here, I've got about 1/4 of an inch over here, and I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch over here about. So this is going to be one of my roofs. Let me cut this one off. So, and then here's some more roofs here. But, you know, and you don't have to make them all the same width. This one will be a wide enough roof for this house, but this house, not really. It's a little bit skinnier. And even if they're exactly the same, it looks a little bit funny. So you want your roof to stick out just a little bit, like this. So this one actually fits perfectly. The roof and the walls match up in the same spot. So you can do it anyway. We've got this little piece over here. And so, you know, you just kind of look and think, well, what do I see in that? I'm going to cut this off on an angle, and now I see a chimney. I think it needs to be a little bit skinnier. There we go. So now this part of the chimney will sit up against the roof of the house when we put it on there, and then that will be a chimney. So we've got some houses. Let's do this one. I like to do some roofs that are just really pointy and really like wavy. So I'm just going to do it like that. And I think I'm going to flip it over because it's easier for me to cut on this side. And I'm just going to kind of do this about the same way. And like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect because they are wonky houses. To me, I think that if they look perfect, they're almost not quite right. You know, they need to be a little wonky. So there we go. Now I got quite a bit of dents in there. My point came off, so I'm just going to take that off. And I'm going to try and heat this. Well, this is a roof, so the thing with roofs are, I always put like shingles or something on my roof. So those dents are not really going to make much of a difference. So there's a roof. Now we've got this one. Let's turn it into a tree. So now we've got a tall pine tree. And again, remember to cut off the bottom so you can line it up where you want to line it up. And then here is another one. And so I'm going to just make this one kind of a short, fat tree. There we go. Now, when I did this last time, I used a different pair of scissors, which actually, they cut a little bit better than these do. But it still works out just fine. And so now we have a big tree, and we have a little tree, and sometimes these, you know, just these little rounded pieces work good just as a decoration. And this one is just a little too off for me. I'm not going to bother with that, but here's one here. See, this is just a piece that was cut like that, except it was a little bit bigger. So let's do one more roof. Let's do one with this skinny one. Oh, I already did that, didn't I? I cut. Nope. Okay, and that's the other thing. Try and keep like, okay, those are my houses. I'm going to make this one a roof. I think I did cut it as a roof. All right, so let's see, maybe I'll just make a straight roof for this one. Just like that. And now it's bigger than this, and it can be used for the roof of that one or any other house you have that's like that. And then look, there's another tree, and I'm not even going to cut that. And there's another tree. So, and then you can, you know, just use this to make your doors. Now this door is going to be a little bit tall, so you could leave it that way, or I think I want my door to be about this size. So there's a door, and there's a little window. I like to do round windows, and to do round ones, what you do is you just cut a square, and you want your square to be fairly square. And then start at the center of one side, look to the center of the next side as you're cutting. When you get close to that, look to the center of the next side until you get all the way done. And that is the best way to just freehand a circle and have it come out halfway decent. So as you're looking, point your scissors to where you're going. And there we go. It's a halfway decent circle. And then what you do is you just use a pen and just start decorating them on the round ones. And what you're doing is you're pushing this down, just like when we did our other types of foam stamps. You're just pushing down so that when you stamp with this, it is not going to show wherever your pen mark is. There won't be any color there. So now there we have a window like this one right here. So, and then this one, it's long and it's skinny. Maybe I'll just make a long skinny window out of it. And just maybe put like one pane at one end. Like that. You just want to make sure that you press it good so that, you know, it really makes a dent in there. And there we go. Now we've got a long skinny window. This one I think was a door. So the only thing we need to do with this door is put a doorknob on it. This one is also a door. So I'm going to put a doorknob on there. And now also, like with this one, the doorknob is going to be on the right side when you flip it over. On this one, because the doorknob's in the middle, you can either make it on the right side when you flip it over, or you can do it like this and make it on the left side when you flip it over. So if you have a door that has a shape to it that definitely has a bottom, then you're going to want to decide where you want your doorknob. So, and then for the chimney, I'm just going to draw some lines and then come back in, and I'm going to turn them into bricks. And there are just a million options of what you can do for this with this. Now, like I said, I don't do anything with my houses, but if you want to, you can. You know, if you want, you can put siding on them or whatever. So I'm just going to come up here and go right there, and then over there, just to kind of make it look like these are bricks. And there we go. There's our chimney. And there's a roof. And for my trees, sometimes now I don't go all the way to the top when I'm putting like a center on my tree, because then there won't be any. I want the color to basically kind of be all the way around. I want color there at the top. And if I put my line to the top, wherever my line is, there won't be any paint. So I just kind of come part way up with my trees. And you can do them like that, or you can put little branches on them once you put your center line. You don't have to put a center line. I think I did one with just a bunch of little swirlies on it, and then you can just kind of go up like this and make some little branches. Maybe it's wintertime and this one doesn't have any leaves on it, although it's shaped like a pine tree. They always have foliage on them, don't they? But there we go. So then there's one like that. And then these are trees. Now, you could just do this one. Just kind of put little swirls on it. And then the other, you just need to make sure that you're not just drawing that swirl on there. You need to make sure that you're pressing it down. Maybe just put a little dot there at the top. Maybe put a dot there. Maybe finish all my swirls and then just go back in and put some dots if I feel like there is a real bare spot. Because these are wonky houses, they should have maybe some wonky trees. Put a little dot there. And there we go. There's that tree. And then just make a plain old window with the crosses in it. Just like that. And the thing about this is, other than you've taken time to decorate them, if you don't like the way it's decorated, it's a little tiny piece of fun foam, which actually all your little bits, you know, would be things on a lot of other projects that you might just throw away. So let's just put some regular shingles on this one. And then maybe we'll put some like swoopy shingles on the one that has the curves on it. And then I think what I'll do is I use my paint pad for these. You can use your ink pads. I used ink for this and I used paint for this. I like it better with the paint. I can get more variety and it seems to clean up a little easier when I use the paint. And all I do is after I've used them, after I stamp it, I just take it and wipe it across a damp paper towel and call it good. So you don't have to get it completely clean. And you definitely, obviously, being that it's got cardboard on the back, you don't want to put it in water. But so what I'm going to do after I finish these couple is go and get my paint pad and we'll get it all painty, and then we'll stamp some of these, and I will lay out the other ones that I've done and we'll stamp those so you can see what they look like. This was our dog house. So for our dog house, I'm just gonna give him a doggy door. And because I don't want that to have color, I'm going to color the whole thing in to make it flatter. And you could color on it to make it look like wood grain. You know, you can, the sky is the limit with these. That's why I just love fun foam stamps, because you can do so many really cool mixed media things with the fun foam. So there we go. Now, where's that roof? See, we can also use this roof on our dog house. That's what also is really fun about this. It's like it's so mix and match. So like with this one, maybe I'll just kind of do it like this. I don't think I've even done this pattern before. I've done like just separate swoops. So this will be a new one for me. And that's the thing, you'll just come up with all different ideas. And it takes a while to make these, but the thing is that you're actually creating while you're making your stamps. So, you know, don't think, oh my word, this is just taking me forever. Enjoy the process. You know, this is creating just as much as when you stamp with this and use it on a journal page or use it to make a card for somebody's new house or something. I think it'd make a cute new home card with some little wonky houses on it. And then just also be careful when you're gluing your fun foam, and that's, you know, another thing about the bigger sheets, you don't have to worry as much, but if you're trying to glue individuals to the cardboard after you've cut them out, just be careful not to get much glue on the top, because the glue won't want to take your paint or your ink very well. It will kind of resist, so you'll have a spot wherever that glue was on your fun foam. So there we go. We have some doors. We have some windows. Our little flower pot. I'm going to just put a ridge on the top. This is one of those great big outdoor flower pots. And then maybe I will just kind of put some rocks on the bottom. There, like that. So we've got enough here, and then we still have all of this left to make more windows, to make more roofs, and you know, we can cut these out too, but I'm going to I will put tape on the back, and that's how you use them to stamp with. Let me move this out of the way. So that you don't get paint all over your fingers when you're trying to put it on your paint pad, and so that you don't have a hard time picking it up off your paper and transferring ink to your paper. Just take some masking tape. This piece ripped in half, so I'm just going to use it for one of my smaller items. And what I did was I just folded it so that it taped to itself, but left a little wing at the bottom on each side so that you could tape that wing right to your stamp. And then I've got a little sticking out, so I want to cut that off. I don't want that to interfere with my stamping. So there we go. Now we can put that on our paint pad, and then we can stamp it onto our paper, and you know, it'll be easier, and we won't get paint or ink all over our hands, and then transfer that to the paper. When you've got a little tiny one, all you do is you just take a little tiny piece of masking tape. You want it to be long enough so that you've got kind of a tall handle. And then this is still really big, so I'm going to cut it down a little bit before I even put it on. And I'm going to put it on now, and then I will trim off anything that's excess. The big ones are easy. You can just use a full width of this and just stick it right on the back. But with these ones, it's sticking out here, so I'm going to just trim that off. And I'm going to, the easy way to trim the side where this is sticking up, just fold that down. And then you can get to that side easily without it being in your way. Trim that one. And trim that one. And voila, it's a little tiny window, but we've got a nice handle with a nice amount of space to actually grip so that we can stamp our window. So I will put my masking tape on the back of these. I forgot to put masking tape on the back of these, so I'm going to do that also. And then I will lay these out so you can see the different types of things. Here's another little dog house or a kid's playhouse, and there's a chimney. So I'll lay these out so that you can see the different patterns that I put on them also, and then we'll do some stamping with them. So I will be back just shortly. Okay, just a quick insert. I finished cutting up that one piece of fun foam that was on our cardboard that was just this size. And so I just wanted to show you what we got out of one piece. So we have these 4 houses, we have the dog house, we have these 2 roofs, and then These ones down here are the ones that I did off camera. So we have 3 more roofs, 4 more roofs down here. We have these trees, we have these windows, flower pot, a chimney, a couple of doors, another door, another window. This is like a like an awning over top of your door. And that's just what I made them. You can see whatever you want. But and then I wanted to show you this one I thought kind of looks like a mushroom top, and I think that looks cute on ones that are shaped like this because it kind of looks like a mushroom. And when I cut this one out, this is what I was left with. And then I was looking at it and I thought, you know, if I put this together like this, to me it kind of looks a little bit like what could be like French doors. And I'm going to take off these little snippets here and then take the back, just tape the back together. I'm going to leave a little bit of a, no, I'm going over there so I don't like have it fall on my cardboard, but it really doesn't matter. So there, we've got that one, and I'm just going to cut this one. But, you know, and it could be, you know, it could be all sorts of things. But I just kind of see it as like on a fairy house, a little set of French doors. So, and then I also did want to show you, again, the taping, not of this, but I'm going to tape this while I have it here so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm just going to tape that one like that. That's not my handle. That's just to keep those kind of in line, but they were crooked. I have to fix it. There. But I want to show you how to do the masking tape again, because there was one part that I do that I forgot to show you that makes it a whole lot easier. So there, we need a couple doorknobs, and maybe that's French doors. Maybe it's 2 little trees. I don't know. Okay, so I saved out a larger one so I could use a bigger piece of tape so you could see. So I told you that you take your tape and that you fold it in the middle, but you keep a little wing out on each side. And then you put it on your stamp. Well, putting it on this way is a little bit hard. It kind of sticks to your fingers and stuff, but the easiest way to do it, especially with the tiny, tiny ones, the easiest way to do it is, instead of trying to hold those little flaps out and get them on there, just take the 2 that are sticky and just kind of fold them up so that you kind of have like a, I don't know, not a W, but we're just going to kind of fold those up to hold them, and then this is what we're going to just stick it right on there, and then fold those back down again. And then, you know, you can just fold over this flippy piece to just push down on both sides. You know, you don't have to even push it this way. Just fold that over. So the nice thing about these handles is they get right out of your way. And then go ahead and trim it. But I just wanted to show you how you, like, if you fold those 2 little flaps up, it makes it easier to stick it down onto your stamp versus trying to stick the sticky pieces on and, you know, keep this part out of the way and try and put those down there. If you just fold them all up, put the middle down, and then just fold them down, it works really great and really easy. So, all right, I will be back in a minute. I am not going to put handles on all of them that I had already made here. I will lay these out so that you can just see them. But we're going to stamp with these because this is what we made. This is our 1 sheet of fun foam, so you can see just what you can get out of just 1 sheet. So I will be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back, and I just wanted to show you the ones that I had done before as my practice ones, just so you could just get a little idea on some different things you might want to do. But I've got all of these different house shapes, and then I have these roofs with these designs. And then I have some chimneys right here and some windows, and like even just little bits that were offcuts that it's like that'd make a cute window. I just kept them just like they were. I have a couple dog houses and a couple of things to go over the doors. I've got 3 little flower pots and some trees and some more doors. And like this door was an offcut, and I liked that little angle, so I left it on there and then just gave it a window kind of shaped that same way. This is another one that, you know, was cut like that, and I liked the shape of that, so it's going to be a little door like that. I've got these ones here that are kind of like a little French door, which again was just I was cutting something else out, and that's how it came out. And then just some little trees with different types of designs on them, some with just little swirls, some with just marks or just lines. So those are, you know, all the different little types of things you can do, and you can just do them a million different ways. You'll find ones that you like better than others. And so that's, but those are just some ideas. So then we're going to make our paint pad. And so I have our paint pad here that we got a long time ago, which is just, it's a dryer. It's like to dry your dishes on, a drying mat. And so it's got a little bit of towel, a little bit of foam, and a little bit of towel. And this side of the towel is flat. This one's kind of bumpy, so I always use this side. But I will show you one time I used brown when I was making lines, and I didn't bother to dry it, to wash it. And it really got kind of a little bit hard. I'm going to probably have to get a new one, but it still works pretty good. And it does get dyed. But this is still soft, even though it's got a little bit of color to it. So you just want to make sure that if you're not going to wash them right away, stick them in a plastic baggie along with a damp paper towel to keep them damp, and don't leave them too long, because you might want to go back and use it again later, but don't just leave it sit out. You want to make sure that you seal it up a little bit. So, and then I just want to tell you also, when I clean these, the way that I clean them is I just have this as a big aluminum pan. And what I do is I just put this in here, and then to start with, what I do is I just put a little bit of water that's about as high as the pad is. And then I just let those colors kind of start to seep out. Now, actually, the first thing I do is, with all of the paint on there, I take paper and I just push it on there, and and just keep doing that until pretty much it doesn't come out very painty anymore. So then you have a bunch of painty paper. Then you take it and stick it in your pan, put a little water in the pan, and then just take some copy paper, or any kind of paper that you have. It doesn't have to be copy paper. And then you take the copy paper with that little bit of water in there and everything, and then you just stick your paper on there. You just push it down and push it down, let that water come up over the edges, and then just lift it straight up and let it drain off. And this is what I wound up with the last time that I made it. And I wound up with all of these that are really pretty. They're kind of like orange and then green and then blue. This is one of the later ones, so it's getting a little more mucky. The earlier ones have more defined colors, but they look really cool. I just love them. And then I just set them aside to dry by my fireplace. And then once the colors are really getting muddy, then I just go ahead and I wash the whole thing. I just squeeze it around and just really get it rinsed out really well. Squeeze it out, set it aside. Now I've got brown kind of muddy paper or water. And then what I do is I just take some more paper and I just soak that up. And then you've got this, it's kind of green, kind of brown. It's a very cool color. And again, I just, put them in, get them wet, and take them out and set them aside. And then I just let them sit for a little while. Then I separate them onto newspapers and let them sit by my fireplace, and then they get dry. But I wound up with a whole ton of papers the last time that I did this. The painty papers and then the water papers, dyed, and that looks really cool. So that's a way to not waste the paint that you're going to put on here. You can use it to make yourself, well, I'll show you. This is a stack that I got. Well, there's a little bit of tea dyed paper in here, but this is the stack of paper that I got by doing that. And about this much of it right here is tea dyed, but the rest of it is all of this, and all of this is all just from the painty or the colored water. So that's how you're going to go ahead and clean this off and get yourself some more good papers to use. But now the one thing to remember too is the last time I did it, I went ahead and I used 4 colors and I did 4 strips all the way across. These are very small, so you don't really need to have a huge area of paint. So you just need an area of paint. Now what I did with this is I ran it under the sink and got it all wet and then squeezed it out pretty good. So this is pretty damp because I don't need it to suck the fluid out of my paint. And you'll just have to use more paint that way. But then what you do is you just put some paint in a spot and then just work it down into that sponge and let it sit for just a little bit to really let it kind of soak in, and then do a little bit more. So I'm going to do that one, and then I'll just do another one right here next to it. And that one is really quite thick. If I had some water here, I would probably spray it down just a little bit. But that's, you know, it doesn't really matter. There's water in the sponge. There we go. I'm going to just kind of wipe this off over here to do another color. And even though this looks brown, that brown has been washed away for a long time. So put some blue there, or green. So I wanted to have some green because I want to be able to do my trees in green. Of course, they don't have to be green. They're wonky houses or fairy houses or whatever, so they could be pink or whatever color you want them to be. And then I got a little yellow. But with this pad, I could have brought out a few more colors because I'm only making a small space, and I actually didn't even think about that till I was just doing it. And I was looking at it and I thought, you know, I didn't need to have as much color on there as I had. So get that worked in, and then I'm going to go back and do it one more time with each color, because you want to make sure that you've got enough paint there for it to pick up. And then this basically becomes a paint pad, just like an ink pad, except with your acrylic paints. And you can use this for stamping. You can use this for, you know, any kind of stamping that you do. It works just as well as ink. Really fine, like clear stamps may not work as well, but especially like your rubber stamps and anything that has a good solid base to it, this works really good for that. And that way you can have any color that that you have in paint, you can have as a little ink pad. And just get these other two really quick. I'll put the yellow on there while I'm at it. And there's not a right amount. You just do it till if you try and stamp your houses and you just don't feel like you're getting enough color, then just you can add some more. But just kind of keep it in the same area so that it's soaking into your little foam pad underneath this in the same spot. The more you spread it out, the more paint you're going to have to put on it in order for it to soak down in there. And my only problem is being that we do heat with wood, especially if I don't get my pad wet before I start, it dries out fairly quickly because it is so hot in here. In the dead of winter, it's not too bad. But when it's getting to be springtime and it's fairly warm outside, then it gets to be like 80 or 90 degrees in the house. And I have a little bit too much yellow in there. I'm just going to kind of smooth it out and call that good. Alrighty, so I just have this sitting. Sorry about that. Telemarketer. I leave my phone on so that if my girls or my husband try and call me, they can get a hold of me, but I hate it when the telemarketers call. Okay, so I just have a piece of paper here. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to, I think I'm going to put my paper this way. There we go. And I'm going to have to set my paint pad down on the table. Let's see which side. I don't have any room here anywhere. I didn't think of that. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to put some houses across the bottom. And you're just going to put it on there and then just make sure that your paint covers your house. And then just press it on. And we'll just kind of do one of each house. I forgot to bring myself a damp paper towel. I usually, when I'm done, as soon as I stamp it, I go ahead and wipe it on a damp paper towel. That just wipes the paint off. We'll just do different color houses. My box is not very solid under here, so I'm not getting the best impression. Or, you know, the paint's not getting on as easily if you have a nice solid surface for that to sit on. Okay. And they don't have to look perfect. They're supposed to look different. It looks like I just have 4 houses here. So we'll put this guy down here all by himself. And then the yellow was really wet, so I'm just gonna grab a little more of that. We'll give him a neighbor. There we go. And then you just start putting then you start putting your roofs on there. Move that up. Sorry about that. I'm just not super prepared today. Alrighty, so we'll put this one on let's put this one on the pink house. And we'll give it a blue roof. And you can overlap them or just line them right up. So if you overlap them, then you get kind of a, like the pink and the blue would have made like a little purple line across. But so there's one. And then this is the smaller roof, so it needs to go on the yellow houses. So we'll give one of them a pink house, or a pink roof. And then the other yellow house will give a green roof. There we go. Let me wipe this off a little bit. I keep saying I'm going to get a new box, just haven't got there yet. So there's that roof. Alrighty, now let's try this one. This is one of my favorite patterns. Let's put a yellow roof on the green house. And I'm going to tap it off a little bit first because there's so much paint on it. Whoop. It's a little crooked. It's a little not in the center, but you know what? It's okay because it's a wonky house. And then let's use... I'm going to make one more of the yellow ones because I want to put the mushroom, I want to put the mushroom house on this one. And now I lost it. Here it is. I want to do the little mushroom cap. So let's do that in blue because I want to see what that looks like. Ah, isn't that cute? See, and that looks just even like a little mushroom. Alrighty, let's see. Blue with a green roof. And I'm going to come down a little bit. So you can see what it looks like when you overlap them. So see, isn't that just so cute? And then you just start picking windows. Like, let's take this window. And which way do we want it? I think I want it this way. And we'll go with a little bit of yellow. And put it right there. There we go. That didn't show up very well, so I'm going to try and come in here and grab some pink and go over it again. And I can kind of line it up because I have trimmed around my stamp. There we go. So, and then we'll take this little one. Put it right on there. And let's put a tree on here. That's cute. And maybe another tree. Down here. Just kind of going through, I didn't get paint all over that one, so fix it later. Here's a little door. Let's put a door on this one. So see, this is just all the different ways you can do it. I thought I'd try and, you know, get some of it so that you could see. See now our little doorknob? See how big that is? So you don't want to make your doorknob really big because just one pinpoint in there comes out really well. And let's do a little doghouse. Let's do the doghouse. We'll do it in blue. And I got a little paint in there because this is not pressed down as far as it should be. And let's put this little roof on it. And it also depends on how much paint you have on your paint pad too, as to how heavy the paint's going to come out. So now we got a little dog house there. And here's another little tree with the swirls on it. So let's see what that one looks like. Make sure I put it somewhere where the book is underneath. And there we go. That one turned out really cute. And I'll pick them up and show you too what they look like. Now let's get some doors on the rest of these houses. And I know it's taking a while, but I just wanted you to be able to see what the different things look like. Just to give you some ideas. That's our last door, so I'll just use that one again right here. And then I like the little round door. I'll put that one on there. And a chimney. Don't forget that you might want to have a chimney. Oops. That on here. Pick up some green and put a green chimney on that one. I only made one chimney. I'll give this one a pink chimney. But aren't those just, I just love them. I think they're so cute. And then here's a little planter. Put the planter right here by this house, and then you can put some little flowers in there. Let's try this, the little double doors on the blue house that we have left here, and let's make them, let's try yellow. And it moved on me. So we don't have any doorknobs anymore, and let's do the little round. I love the round windows. I think they're quite cool. Put that one up here. And let's put a long window above the double doors. So, and you might want to make sure that you have, oops, I forgot to put my tape on the back of this one. So now you're going to see how it works when, let's see, I'm going to do this in blue. See, it's hard to not get paint on your fingers. Put this little awning on there. And of course, you'll take a little bit more time to line them up a little better, but they don't have to be lined up well. I'm going to do a blue tree right here. And I'm going to do a blue tree in the middle of this one. So there we go. That is the last little one that we cut out. So, but I think we really just, I have to have a window on this one. He looks kind of naked. Good enough. There we go. There are our little wonky houses. They turned out cute. I love wonky houses. Even if you don't love wonky houses, you gotta admit they really are quite cute. So, but I hope that I gave you enough information on how to do this. And I hope that if you make them that you have a good time, because they are really fun to play with. And now you can cut these out to put them on a journal page. You can use them on the front of a card. You know, you could fold this in half and stick it in a journal, and you know, you would have you know, a whole little village there in your journal. So thank you very much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye. I almost forgot to tell you what we need for next week. So for next week from the Dollar Tree, we are going to need these decorative acrylic gems. And they're the little gems that kind of look like, they look like little diamonds. Like this. They kind of have a little point on the end. They don't have any holes or anything in them, but you'll need to get a package of these, and then a tin of chocolate hazelnut pralines. I love these. And so I have a lot of these cans, but you don't have to have this can. You don't have to buy it, but I am going to put it on your list as far as we're going to take $2 out of our budget. So in case you don't want to get these, but you don't have any type of a tin or a jar or something, go ahead and pick up some kind of a jar. You're going to want to have a plastic or a metal lid, not a glass lid. So, but this is a good thing to recycle. You know, if you've got an old tin that you had that, you know, you thought you wanted to keep, you like the shape, or you have a tin that you're storing something in, but it looks like this. So we're going to need a tin of some sort, or even a jar, so long as it does not have a glass lid. And you do want a lid on it, and we're going to need these diamonds. So for next week, we are going to spend $2 out of our budget. And again, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.